Quests, items, and gear. Perhaps three of the most important features we deal with in World of Warcraft as we travel from zone to zone, preparing for ever more dangerous foes out in the world and deep within dungeons and raids. Quests are the objectives of the game that we find out in the world, and that award us with some experience for our trouble. Items are the objects we pick up and interact with in our inventories, and if we're lucky, we might come across one every so often that's an upgraded piece of armor or a new trinket, a piece of gear that better equips us for the journey ahead. But even rarer than any of these things separately is when all three happen at the same time, an item that's directly involved in a quest and can also be permanently equipped as a piece of gear. How many of these strange anomalies exist in Classic WoW, and should you ever come across one, are you going to turn it in, or will you keep it for yourself, bolstering your own power at the cost of leaving a story unresolved? Let's find out. This is the Return of the Ring, along with tales of the other wearable quest items of Classic WoW. As always, thank you for the fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. Our first story today begins in Morogh, the fallen city of the gnomish race now overrun with insane traders and dark iron dwarves. As you fight through the corridors, you might pick up a grime-encrusted ring from one of the dark irons, which you can take back to the Sparkle-matic machine in the clean zone to uncover its secrets. Once cleaned off, the ring transforms into a brilliant gold ring, and is given back to you as a quest item for the follow-up quest, The Return of the Ring. It's an obvious Lord of the Rings reference in more ways than one, and the quest text even makes it a point to mention how magic power surges through your body when you wear it. The characteristics of the ring change depending on your faction, with Alliance players finding the Seal of Ironforge, along with the letters TDK. Horde players instead find the Seal of Orgrimmar, and the letters NOG. Both quests emphasize that you can find the person indicated by the markings, or you can keep the brilliant gold ring as it is. Again, this reflects the dilemma of the One Ring, but if you decide to return the ring and complete the quest, there's a benefit to doing so beyond just a bit of XP. Both artisans offer to upgrade the ring for a small fee and some materials, converting the uncommon ring to a rare version with even better stats. A pretty good ending, but it makes you wonder about those players who may have kept the original ring forever. As a final note here, both quest givers also make it a point to highlight how intriguing it is that dark iron dwarves are inside Morogh, now working with the leper gnomes, evidence of a newfound alliance, or maybe proof of their involvement in the city's fall. We can't say for sure, but perhaps it's something I can look into in the future. The rare dark iron ambassador might be another interesting piece of the puzzle too. Far to the south, in the tropical jungle of Stranglethorn Vale, the Gurubashi arena waits in silence for heroes brave or foolish enough to enter the pit and claim the prize. Guaranteed in the chest at the center is the Arena Master Trinket, a symbol of PvP triumph that can be shown to Short John Mithril to start the path on becoming an Arena Grandmaster. This quest doesn't require you to turn in the trinket, so you can just hold on to it and equip it like I did after my single arena heist. For those interested though, the quest requires 12 Arena Master trinkets to be obtained, with the arena chest resetting every 3 hours. It's a bold undertaking, especially on a hardcore server, but if you do bring John 12 of them, he grants you the Arena Grandmaster item, which is much more powerful and grants you a damage absorption effect. It's also possible that you didn't take the 20 seconds necessary to actually turn in the first step, meaning it is possible to have the trinket as a part of your gear without completing the quest it starts, a trend we'll see more of here shortly. Just to the south in Booty Bay, there's a hungry sea giant named Mokrash who hangs out by the statue just offshore, taunting Captain Smots about a belt he stole from the downtrodden sailor. "I have your little belt tied around my finger, Smots. Don't you want it back?" To my knowledge, these shouts usually happen when a player completes Smots' first quest, the Captain's Chest, which involves slaying another sea giant on the eastern shore. Swimming out to Janiro's Point and taking care of the annoyance, you loot the monogrammed sash with the letters HS on it, which you can return to the captain to unlock the third and final story regarding the sea giants and Smots' revenge. However, you might just find the belt pretty stylish and powerful if you're a caster, so you might avoid turning this item in and adding it to your gear instead. Finders keepers, right? Across the sea in the lush plains of Morogh, the Tauren hunter Scorn Whitecloud has a story to tell members of the Horde who are willing to listen. I have run through these plains for many seasons, and I have hunted great beasts, and I had never been bested until I faced Ghost Howl. Long ago, the massive wolf was an ally to the Tauren, and fought bravely against the Burning Legion. But he was wounded savagely by a demon, and the tear in his flesh never healed. Eventually, it drove Ghost Howl mad. Now he roams the plains in agony, seeking an end to his pain. To my shame, when we fought, I lacked the strength to slay him. This doesn't start you on a quest, but it does give you information, and something very unique happens in the background too. When you listen to the story, this allegedly causes the rare spawn Ghost Howl to appear in one of 4 locations around northern Morogh. I'm not sure if this is the only way he can spawn, or if this is a way of resetting the respawn timer, but according to the forums, it's helped a lot of folks over the years finally track him down. It really pays to slow down and listen to what NPCs have to say. Once you do find a Ghost Howl out on the plains and put him to rest, you can claim a piece of his hide as a new piece of gear, the Demon-Scarred Cloak, a simple gray cape that we now know has quite a bit of history behind it. Both Horde and Alliance players can equip it, but only members of the Horde can return to Scorn and Bloodhoof Village and tell him about the victory, where he lets you keep the cloak and even offers you a bonus reward item. For the very few Alliance players who might come across this item, you can keep it without starting the corresponding quest, and you'll surely have a tale to tell about sneaking into the Tauren starting zone and hunting down one of the most elusive rares in the entire game. For those unfortunate enough to travel through the damp, dreary Swamp of Sorrows, you might wander across the crazed, lost one Noboru the Cudgel and his thugs, who have been causing quite a bit of trouble for the friendly Draenei at the Harborage. Slaying him causes him to drop his infamous club, a terrible gray item with pretty much no practical use. But it does start a turn-in quest that proves to the Draenei you've removed the menace from the swamp. As you can probably gather, you could just keep the club and start wielding it yourself, but you won't find yourself at the top of the damage meters anytime soon. As you level up from 30 to 40 throughout various zones on both continents, random enemies have a minuscule chance of dropping a necklace called the Pendant of Mizrael, which starts the lengthy quest chain that leads you to the Arathi Highlands and deals with Mizrael, a princess of the earth who is trapped beneath the land here. It's a central part of the storyline in this zone, but if you're not planning on heading there anytime soon, you can just equip the necklace and call it a day. Last but certainly not least, the Chained Essence of Aranicus is one of the most infamous examples of this type of quest item. After defeating the Shade of Aranicus in the Sunken Temple, you can bring his essence to the nearby Green Dragon Font, which is supposed to cleanse the Emerald Gem and help the spirit of the defeated boss find rest. However, this goes terribly wrong, and the font ends up corrupting the gem even more, turning it into the Chained Essence of Aranicus, a trinket item that can poison nearby enemies. Out of all the items we've discussed today, this is probably the one that is given up the least, especially considering the trinket is rather useful, and the turn-in quest is so hard to find. In a secluded corner of the Swamp of Sorrows, the green dragon Aetherius waits in his mortal disguise, offering a secret follow-up quest to try and cleanse the spirit of Aranicus to those who bring him the essence. If you relinquish the item to him, he tells you to speak with Umbrant the Spirit Speaker in Winterspring, who has this to say when you finally reach him. Aetherius was wise to send you to me. While he is not dead as you understand death, Aranicus will soon give us advice in his own words. For now, though, I cannot directly help you, at least not yet. I will lend my skill at death speaking to you, but first I need the help of one who, unlike me, is not limited by the frailties of old age. My most potent augury device has been taken from me against my will, and unless I have it back, we will be at a loss to help Aranicus. Unfortunately, we never learn who has taken the artifact. There is no follow-up, and to this day this remains one of the most substantial, incomplete stories in all of classic WoW, even if Aranicus is eventually saved in the famous Scepter of the Shifting Sands storyline. For many, this underdeveloped story is never even discovered, and it's much more straightforward to just sell the Chained Essence, or keep it around and pump out some poison damage from time to time. But maybe next time you're leveling up a character in Classic, you'll consider checking out this abandoned quest line, even at the cost of a pretty cool trinket. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at these 7 items, 7 adventures that stem from the few wearable quest items in Classic WoW. I did a lot of research both in-game and online to investigate all of these tales, but if I missed anything, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. A special thank you to my channel members who provide bonus support for these videos, and until next time, may the Force be with you.